Have you ever wondered what fueled the fearsome frenzy of the Salem Witch Trials? This question has puzzled historians for centuries. To understand it, we must journey back in time to the late 17th century, to the small, isolated settlement of Salem, Massachusetts. Here, in this cold and unforgiving land, life was a constant struggle. The harsh weather, the scarcity of resources, and the ever-present fear of Native American attacks created a pressure cooker of stress and fear. The settlers clung to their faith as their only source of comfort and assurance. Now consider the social and religious environment of the time. There was no separation of church and state as we know it today. Religious beliefs permeated every aspect of life, and the fear of the devil was very real. The Puritans believed that Satan was actively working to destroy their community, and that witches were his loyal servants. In this climate of fear and suspicion, it took only a few accusations to ignite a wildfire of hysteria. In the winter of 1692, a young girl named Betty Paris fell ill. Her symptoms were strange and inexplicable. Before long, other girls in the community started showing similar symptoms. Doctors were baffled, and in their desperation, they pointed to witchcraft as the cause. The girls, perhaps influenced by the adults around them, began accusing others in the community of bewitching them. The first accused were those who lived on the margins of society. A slave named Tituba, an impoverished woman named Sarah Good, and an elderly woman named Sarah Osborne. These were the initial sparks that ignited the Salem Witch Trials. In the face of such accusations, the community was gripped by panic. Fear of the devil, combined with the hardships of life in a new world, set the stage for a horrific series of events. The line between reality and imagination blurred, and the hunt for witches began in earnest. And so the spark was ignited, setting off a chain of events that would forever mark Salem as a city of witchcraft and fear. The flame of fear had been kindled, and the trials began in earnest. Once the spark of suspicion was ignited, it didn't take long for the Salem Witch Trials to escalate into a full-blown frenzy. In the heart of this hysteria was Judge John Hathorne. A man of stern and unyielding conviction, Hathorne was known for his relentless cross-examinations. He was quick to judge and slow to doubt, an unfortunate combination when dealing with accusations of witchcraft. The trials were not merely about the accused, but also the accusers. A group of afflicted girls played a pivotal role in setting the witch hunt in motion. These young girls, led by the likes of Betty Paris and Abigail Williams, claimed to be tormented by unseen forces. Their dramatic displays of convulsions, screams, and trances were taken as undeniable proof of witchcraft. In a society deeply rooted in superstition, their performance was convincing enough to sway even the most rational minds. Then, there were the victims. Over 200 people were accused, and the trials claimed the lives of 19 innocent people. Each victim was a tragic testament to the power of fear and hysteria. One such victim, Giles Corey, a prosperous farmer, refused to enter a plea, believing the trials to be a farce. He was subjected to a brutal form of punishment known as pressing, where heavy stones were piled upon his chest until he met his untimely death. His last words, "more weight," became a haunting symbol of defiance in the face of unjust persecution. But the trials were not just about witches. They were also about fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the other, fear of losing control. These fears, when combined with a fervent belief in the supernatural, created a potent mixture that was ripe for a witch hunt. Salem was under the spell of mass hysteria, a spell that was far more dangerous than any witchcraft. As we delve deeper into the shadows of Salem's past, we find that the real horror lies not in the witches, but in the minds of the people themselves. As the frenzy faded, Salem was left to reckon with the aftermath of its own fear. The echoes of the witch trials gradually dimmed, the hurried whispers and pointed accusations replaced with a deafening silence. The eerie calm that descended upon Salem was not one of peace, but of reflection, a chilling reminder of the hysteria that once consumed it. The town's once thriving community was now a shell of its former self, the joyous laughter of children replaced by the haunting cries of the bereaved. The trials had torn apart families, friends, and neighbors, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. In the years that followed, the town attempted to make amends. Public apologies were issued, the town's officials expressing their deep regret over the gross miscarriages of justice. They pleaded for forgiveness, their voices heavy with guilt and remorse. Yet their apologies could never undo the damage done, the lives lost, the families shattered. Reparations were made to the victims' families, a feeble attempt to mend the deep wounds that the trials had inflicted. Each payment was a stark reminder of the price of fear, of the cost of paranoia and superstition. But no amount of silver or gold could ever replace the loved ones lost, the absence of their laughter, their warmth, their love. The trials left an indelible mark on Salem, a stain that could never be washed away. The town was forever tainted by its dark past, its history forever marred by the memory of the witch trials. Even today, the town is a haunting reminder of the tragic consequences of fear and ignorance. The Salem Witch Trials were a dark chapter in the town's history, a period of mass hysteria and paranoia that cost innocent lives. It serves as a chilling reminder of the destructive power of fear, the damage it can inflict when left unchecked. The trials may have ended, but their shadow would forever darken the history of Salem. The echoes of the trials continue to resonate, a haunting melody that serves as a grim reminder of the town's tragic past. The Salem Witch Trials serve as a chilling reminder of the destructive power of fear and hysteria. As we delve into the shadows of Salem's past, we find lessons hiding in its darkest corners, lessons that are as relevant today as they were over 3 centuries ago. The first of these lessons is the toxic potency of mass hysteria. The Salem Witch Trials were not born out of rational thought or careful deliberation, but out of fear, panic, and a mob mentality that swept through the community like a wildfire. The trials taught us that hysteria, once ignited, can consume reason and justice in its flames. The second lesson drawn from Salem's dark secret is the indispensable value of due process. The accused witches were denied the basic tenets of a fair trial, including the presumption of innocence and the opportunity to cross-examine their accusers. This denial of due process resulted in grave miscarriages of justice, with innocent lives lost in the process. The trials underscore the importance of maintaining fair and equitable legal processes, even in the face of societal pressures or collective fear. But perhaps the most crucial lesson we can take from the Salem Witch Trials is the importance of critical thinking in the face of fear. The residents of Salem were quick to believe in the existence of witches because it provided a convenient explanation for their fears and uncertainties. They allowed fear to cloud their judgment and guide their actions, leading to tragic consequences. The Salem Witch Trials remind us that we must always question, always scrutinize, and never allow fear to blind us to reason. They remind us that we must be vigilant in our pursuit of truth, unswayed by the tides of fear and panic. The Salem Witch Trials stand as a stark warning from history, a reminder that fear, unchecked, can lead us down a dark and dangerous path.